Morning all, welcome to Garden Invaders Down Under. Well, down under Leeds, that is.
Nottinghamshire, to be precise.
It's a lovely county.
It is indeed.
And we've got a very big garden to do.
And we got some materials and we got a few garden invaders and hopefully we'll have some plants if the garden owners can answer some of Mark's tricky gardening questions.
And when I say big garden, I mean big garden. Very kind of unruly garden as well. So we need all the help we can get, mate.
We do
Are
indeed.
these the same invaders? I tell you what, these cutbacks are beginning to bite, mate.
I think you're right.
Today we're in Newark to invade the garden of Mick Sparren, who's being helped out today by his mum Anne. Mick's been in a wheelchair for the past 12 years after a car accident. From having led a really action-packed life, Mick's now keen to find new challenges and really wants to learn about gardening. He would love to have a manageable space where he could enjoy scents and sounds and local wildlife. Well, we'd love to help out with that, but first we might have to do some haymaking.
What time do the elephants come to the waterhole then?
It does look a bit like that, doesn't it?
So why is it in this state?
Because basically, I can't get much further than where I am now without getting into serious trouble.
Well, I'm not surprised, nor could I. To be fair.
I've tried, like on my front garden, I've tried trying to keep things in control there. And the wheelchair is just a nightmare trying to do anything in this wheelchair on a slope. You end up on 3 wheels and it's rotating.
How did you end up in a wheelchair?
It was a simple, well, a stupid vehicle accident. The rear tyre blew, sent me off the road onto the ice and snow. And the vehicle almost came to a stop and this ditch appeared under the snow and the vehicle dropped vertically. And I got spinal compression. My upper body crushed 2 vertebrae.
Right. So you say you can't get out about at all without the wheelchair?
I do have a walking frame which I practice with occasionally, and once this area has been flattened, I'll be using a walking frame out here.
So what would you like it to be then?
My prime concern is accessibility for the wheelchair, so it needs to be level is the major problem first. I need things raised up so I don't have to lean over and fall out my chair whenever I want to reach for weeds or things.
Now there are actually quite a few nice plants in here. They're just hidden away quite well. You got that lavateria over there.
Lavateria there, yeah.
You got the little orange fox and cubs growing there. But it's a good space, so we can do something good here.
And there's my fuchsia behind us as well.
Exactly. You spotted the third plant that's worth
So Anne's got her
keeping.
back to the fuchsia then. Who's doing the questions? Who's doing the gardening?
I'm doing the questions.
And I'm doing the garden.
Okay, which is fair enough because it's very important you don't see your garden until the end of the day anyway.
Right.
Okay, because it is your garden. You're doing the gardening?
Yes.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Come on.
Let's go. There's a lot to do, you know.
I know.
We'll make our way around the front.
Now, we've obviously got our work cut out here. Thank you, Tom. So what we're going to do is extend the path down here so that we make it nice and level for Mick to get out into the garden. A path down here with a nice raised bed next to it so that he can actually do some gardening. And then down at the end here, what we're going to do is put in a paved area, sitting area, and then put a pergola over the top, so it's going to have some shade. It's going to be a nice area surrounded by plants. And then over to the side, we're going to put in a lawn. So we're going to get rid of this sort of assault course
Lovely.
that we've got going on there, and lots of planting, and it should become much easier to look after. Now, you're going to be an invader for the day, so we've got this lovely t-shirt for you, so you can get that on. But our first job, of course, is going to be clearing this.
Yes.
So let's go and do that.
On the grass, all the plants that Andy's chosen for your garden, a whole group of them through from the roses and the rowan, through all the perennials, and then some lovely shrubs like the cotoneaster over there. Okay, big range of plants. You've got a big garden, so you need to have that variety, okay?
Right, okay.
Your job is to get all these plants in the garden by answering my questions correctly.
Okay.
It's as simple as that, okay? At the end of the programme, though, Anne will answer a question to get the goodies over there. And it'll be a horticultural question as well, but it's the barbecue, gas-fired barbecue.
Very nice.
Very, very nice bit of kit, that, for entertaining.
Thank you.
All right, so there's lots of goodies here. We're going to start with the first group over here, which are the climbing roses and the rowan. Rowan Joseph Rock. In the British Isles, the rowan has a long and still popular history in folklore as a tree which protects against witchcraft and enchantment. And a fantastic bunch of climbing roses. We have Ambridge Rose, Septidile, Molyneux and Catherine Morley. So here's your question. for the lovely roses in the row. Good luck, mate. Hybrid tea and floribunda are names given to two classifications of what? Are they tulips, roses, or apple trees?
I believe they're roses.
I believe you're right, sir.
Thank you very much.
Very good indeed. They will be going into the garden now. Paul and Matt are here to take them away. Now that we've cleared the garden, it's feeling incredibly empty. There's really not much in it at all. So what I want to do is to put some instant height in, and the best thing to do that with is a pergola. So we're going to have a big structure here and paving underneath, so it's a nice private place to sit in a bit of shade. Leading out this way, we're going to have a nice level path so that Mick can easily get his wheelchair down to there. And over on that side, we're going to have a level lawn, so it's nice and easy to keep. Not too many beds going on. But over here, what we are going to have is a raised bed so that Mick can actually access it from his wheelchair and do some proper gardening, which he actually enjoys. One of the few things that there is in the garden is this elder. Now, it's not a particularly spectacular plant, but it's all we got, so I'm going to keep that. And over in this side of the garden, we've found a bumblebee nest. And so we've called in Dave, the bee man from the council. Now, what are you actually going to do with this? Because bees are good for the garden, aren't they?
We don't actually like killing bumblebees. They're not aggressive like wasps. I mean, they can sting, but obviously you need them removing to carry on with your work. We're going to remove them, bag them up, go and find a nice rabbit hole somewhere and reown them.
OK, well, you've got all the gear, so I'm going to leave you to that.
Righto. We've got the nest, we've got the queen. They're in the bag, they're tied up. Problem over.
You're a bit into growing your own stuff now to eat, aren't you?
Well, it's what I want to get into. It's what I want to learn how to do. Since my dad died a few years ago, he used to grow all the vegetables in the family, potatoes and lettuce. And in summer, I always used to look forward to lettuce and salad cream sandwiches. So I need to grow lettuce, I need to grow tomatoes, I need to grow potatoes.
Well, next up for grabs, your first of two groups of perennials. First up, Delphinium King Arthur. Named after the Greek word for dolphin are the delphiniums because ancient Greeks thought the unfolding flowers looked like dolphins. Syldacia Elsie Hugh prairie mallow is a popular remedy for all kinds of ailments and it's been used for many years. And Echinacea purpurea, Kim's knee-high. It's the cone flower, a native of North America, used by Native Americans to treat wounds and snake bites. So, beautiful perennials, and a perennial question, because it comes up every year. Cooch, fescue and cocksfoot are all types of which garden plant? Are they grasses, willows or bamboos?
Ah, they're grasses.
You know, I knew you were going to know a lot about grasses, given the state of your back garden.
Never thought of that.
It's one thing that you would be an expert in.
I've got plenty of it.
Absolutely right. Yes, they are yours. They're going into the garden. We'll get Tim to come and pick them up. A pergola is a really quick and easy way to get some height and structure into the garden. These horizontal cross members are locked together by creating a half-lap joint. A notch out of this bit of timber, a notch out of the one on top. It slots together like that and it holds it firm and stops the wood from twisting around. But also on top we want the plants to grow and they've got to have something to hang on to. So what I'm doing is stretching wire across here, fixing it with nails and just pulling it tight, and that will create a nice green roof to the whole structure. But it's still a little bit flimsy like this, so what we need to do is to brace it with some bits of timber here like Nick's doing. It's quite ornamental, looks good as well. So they basically just go across like this, screwed in, and that will hold the whole thing firm. And then underneath it, we've got a paving area going on. And in order to check that you've got the right size, the best thing to do is to get your table and chairs out, put them here, and make sure you've got a nice generous bit of paving around it, because you don't want to be falling off into the flower bed. So we've got to crack on with this, got lots to do, but it's coming on nicely. Right, more plants required. Okay, and now your second group of perennials. First up, verbena. It's native to Brazil and Argentina, but I'm sure it'll love it here in Walesby. The plants are short-lived, but cutting back the flower stems in late summer does help extend their life slightly. Artemisia Powys Castle. There are over 200 species of Artemisia with many uses, including flavouring beer and vermouth. And finally, Penstemon Hule's Pink Bedder. early settlers in Nebraska adopted some of the Native American uses of plants for their medicinal needs, holding the pulp on an aching tooth to ease the pain. They're great plants. Here's your question for them. Good luck, Mick. Which tree's sap can be used to make an edible syrup? Is it cherry, maple or birch?
That's the maple.
For a man who's travelled the world, like you have, you must have been to Canada.
Canadians.
You're absolutely right. Maple syrup's correct answer. I'm going to take some of these plants into the back garden, see how they're getting on, because to be honest, the transformation probably is going to be pretty dramatic, having got rid of your savannah. All right, you hang around here. When we come back, one more question for one more group of plants there.
Okay.
All right, and then a little project that we'll need you to do for the garden. All right?
Okay.
Yes, you're going to have to
I didn't realise
do
it was a
something
project.
with your hands. Wow, it is amazing what a bit of grass clearing will do. It's extraordinary, isn't it?
It is.
Oh,
It's done it
I'm
again.
sorry, mate. Sorry. Always doing that.
You are, aren't
Me
you?
and my big feet.
Yes,
Still, they'll recover. What a huge space.
it's massive.
Unbelievable. Must have been fun taking all the grass out and actually seeing the garden for the
Hard
first
work.
time. Was it? You're
Hard
sweating?
work, yes, I know.
Is this the kind of thing that Mike's got in mind? Because he wants kind of very practical, doesn't he?
He does. He wants a very easy garden to look after, easy maintenance, and so that he can get up to it.
All right,
in his
excellent.
wheelchair.
And he's quite keen on starting to grow some projects
He
as well,
is,
I guess,
yes,
isn't he?
yes. Potatoes, beetroot.
Your famous potatoes that he
They're
wants to grow from
Pentland
seed.
Javelin.
What's it called?
Pentland Javelin.
Pentland Javelin, best potato ever, according to you. Fantastic. You carry on with a bit of raking. I'm going to leave these here, by the way, 'cause I don't need them now. Where's Mr. Sturgeon? Andy,
Oh, hello.
what are you doing having a chat?
Designer chat with my colleagues.
You weren't. I bet you were talking about football or something. Weren't you? What a difference.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's amazing.
Absolutely amazing. So you've got the old
Yeah.
pergola behind and the seating area.
Bit of height in there, that makes a big difference
All
in
right,
itself.
any problems?
Well, we've got this path down here, but we've discovered this manhole that's in
Right.
the way, you see. So we've got to
Oh, it's
wiggle...
quite tall, isn't it?
Yeah, we can lower that. Well, that's
Right.
not too much of a problem. But I want to hide it. Now, what a lot of people do, they put a pot on it, which sort of draws
Right.
attention to
So,
it.
there.
Exactly. So what we're going to do, hopefully, if Mick can win the cotoneasters,
Right, which is in the next question, yeah?
then I'm going to plant these either side of it, and they will just grow over it, so you can still get to it and access it quite easily.
Right. And I gather you've come across some bees, bless them.
That's right. We found a bumblebee nest over there this morning, and we had to get the bee man in from the council because bees are good for the garden. We didn't want to just get rid of it, so he's dug it out the ground and taken it away to a safer home.
All right, excellent. Good stuff. Right, well, you better crack on because you've got a lot to do.
That's true enough.
We'll get on with it.
See you later.
Go on.
In the First World War, the British government actually encouraged people to eat rhubarb leaves until they found out they were poisonous, and then they told them to stop. Now, when you clear an overgrown garden, you'll often find rhubarb because it's a survivor, but you'll need to clear the weeds away from it and give it a good mulch of well-rotted manure.
I tell you what, Mick, your garden is a completely different world. A whole new world of excitement. When you take down the grasses, they've discovered creatures living there.
Really?
Yeah, bees' nest, bumblebees' nest.
Oh, what?
Yeah, they've had to come and sort that out because obviously they're very important animals.
Yeah,
So-
I think they're protected bees, aren't they?
Yeah, well,
Bumblebees.
They are now because they've just been taken off in a van. They're completely protected. But it looks huge, your garden now. I mean, it really does look massive, which is quite a challenge for the team because obviously there's a lot more work to do.
Yeah.
But lovely, it's going to be fantastic, you're going to love it. Right, next group up for grabs, your shrubs. Of the shrubs, my favourite is Buddleia, known for its showy blooms and its ability to attract butterflies. Buddleia is a summer garden favourite. And Cotoneaster microphilus. The fruits are, in theory, edible, though fairly awful if attempted raw. Cooked, sieved, sweetened and spiced, they make an acceptable substitute for cranberry sauce. Lovely shrubs, and it's a sort of practical question now, because I've got here for you a pizza. No, I haven't. I've got for you some seeds. You like your seeds?
Yes.
Okay. All I want to know is which of these seeds comes from the nasturtium?
I think that's a poppy of some description. But the nasturtium, I'm going to go for this one.
Why?
I seem to recall that it's like the little nut shapes, or the seed nut shape I'm thinking of. It's just a... I'm probably wrong, but it's just something in the back of my mind.
Okay, so complete guess. So,
Yes.
poppies,
I think they're poppies.
Yes. Rose.
They're roses.
Iris.
Quite small.
Honeysuckle.
Honeysuckle, of course.
Which means this one is
I was
nasturtium.
right.
You were right, absolutely. It was a guess, but it worked.
It was a
Fantastic.
guess, although it's the nut shape made me think of it.
Excellent. Well done. You know more about gardening than I thought.
I'm surprised myself, I really do.
Good job. They're going to go into the back garden, courtesy of Neil. He'll move them out for us, and then next for us is a little project. You have a project, I have a project. Mick really wants to grow his own herbs and vegetables, so we've built this raised planter right next to the path so that he can access it easily from his wheelchair, because he's had a problem in the past where leaning down to the ground's meant that one wheel tips up in the air, so this should make it nice and easy for him. We've put in a good quality soil, and I'm just planting a few herbs and vegetables to get him started, but he can do plenty with seeds in the coming years. It's basically made out of these brand new sleepers, and where we've cut the ends here, that needs treating because that hasn't got any preservative on. But it's quite simple just to paint that on quickly, let it soak in really well, and that's going to stop it from rotting. And something else that can be grown in raised beds is potatoes, but these are raised beds with a difference. Very, very simple, these ones. Basically, just a load of old tyres. Haven't even had to pay for these. Stack them up like this, you don't need to fix them together, and then we've just filled it with the soil. And because it'll all be nice and loose and fluffy in there, plant the potatoes in the top and they'll be really easy to harvest because it's all really loose. You can just pull the plants up, dead simple. Take a couple of tires off and get the potatoes lower down, but of course they're not particularly pretty. So what we've got is some of this bamboo on a roll, split bamboo that's all wired together. This is pretty cheap stuff to buy. And you just wire it together, slot that on the top, make the whole thing a lot more attractive. Oh! Tell you what, it's a very big bundle, this, sir. But it's an essential ingredient of your project.
All right.
All right, okay. You probably won't need all these, but you'll need a fair old few, okay? Because I want you to make some kind of pyramid structures, like cones, okay, for the climbers to grow up. And you've got all these bigger sticks here, and you'll need several of these, so that you'll have them all joined up at the top, like that, but a few more of them round, and then you interweave it with the smaller ones.
Interweave.
This way around like this, all the way through them to create a fairly solid structure. We can then plant in the ground and the climbers will grow up. Any questions, sir?
How many of these should I have round altogether?
Do you know what? I'm going to leave that completely to you. You used to be a telecoms engineer. This should be a doddle.
Okay,
right,
we'll give that a go.
At least 5 or 6.
Okay, thank you very much.
What are you doing?
I'm getting you a project, mate.
You're getting me a project?
Yeah. I've seen you've got a bit of spare time on your hands.
You noticed.
Now, what we've got these wheels, and we've
I'm
got...
going to refurb the wheelchair.
No. But it's kind of an accessory, a wheelchair type accessory.
Oh, right, yeah.
Well, we've got all this wood, and what I thought we could do, or what you could do, is make a table. 'Cause I know you're good at those.
You love them.
And put some wheels on it so it's movable.
Yeah, like it. No, I can do that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can do that. No
go on
worries.
then.
You carry on. Excellent. I can use whatever I like.
Anything you like.
Perfect. So now everyone's at work, we're on time, and all is going to plan. This is too good to be true. Well, would you believe it, eh? It's been a perfect day, and then all of a sudden, we're about an hour from the end, possibly less. The heavens open, and there's thunder and lightning, which means kind of work's had to be put on hold. The invaders are trying to shelter as best they can, and even my table's getting ruined. But the rain has one unexpected bonus, and Andy's got the team back to work.
Although it's pretty horrible to be turfing in the rain, it's actually pretty good for the turf, because if this were a hot day, it would be shrinking and you'd get gaps between it and we'd have to water it with a hose anyway. So this is actually pretty good. But the one thing you have to remember is not to stand on the turf or the prepared ground. So I'm working off these boards here. Once you've pulled the joints tight like that, you can flip the next board over like this. That'll go down there, and when you stand on it, that's actually helping to flatten out the turf and get rid of any undulations. So that's pretty much the end of the turf. all finished there. And over in this corner, Mick's got a dog, so I've decided to put in a dog loo, somewhere to actually use the pooper scooper and chuck the stuff away, and it seemed like a good idea to put it next to this lavatiera. Basically, you buy the thing, you sink it into the ground and surround it by gravel, put a bit of water into the bottom like that, although that should fill up with rain pretty soon at this rate anyway, and then you've got this activator stuff, and you add that, just a cap full of that, about once a week, and that will just help a whole lot to decompose with no smells, no fuss. You put the lid on and the whole thing is pretty simple.
Well, the good news is the thunder and lightning has stopped. The bad news is the rain has completely drenched, soaked and rather ruined, frankly, my table. But the basic structure is here that I've made. So there you go, a tabletop and a couple of shelves on casters so it can be rolled around. But I can't finish it off because you can't sand any of this down when it's wet, and also I needed to treat the ply to make it weatherproof, but that's a job that Anne and Mick are going to have to do a bit later when it dries out. But we need to test it, you see, make sure it's going to work perfectly. So here we go. Yes, it's fine. Oh. I said we'd let you have an invader, and who better than Mum? Because I have to say, that is top teamwork. I've made a few of these myself, they've made me do it, and it's a lot more difficult than it looks, I have to say. So you pleased?
Yes.
Yes,
please.
well, pleased with these two areas. We learnt what we're doing. This area where we started, I'm not too happy with.
Right, well that'll be covered up because the plant will be at its thickest there, and it may be more than one plant anyway going up that. That's fine. Obviously, you probably need a pair of these. It might be something you do at another time, make another one for yourself. Now you know how to do it.
Never
All right, but I'll take this one. You pop in the house, I'll come and get you when the garden's finished. About an hour probably, all right? Okay?
Okay, thank you.
There we go. Here's Andy's top 3 choices for wildlife and sensory planting.
Echinacea purpureus from North America. The Native Americans used to use it for treating all their ailments, and that's the plant that you now use as a complementary medicine in this country. It's used in prairie planting and looks fantastic with grasses, and it'll grow well in any sunny spot. Artemisia Paris Castle is a great silvery foliage plant. It grows into quite a big shrub, but you need to keep it clipped to keep it compact. Gets a bit of black fly in the summer, but you can just blast them off with a hose. The rowan tree, Sorbus orchiperia, is a wonderful tree for a small garden. It has flowers in spring and then berries that turn an orangey red in the autumn, and the birds love it.
Today, Anne is modelling our super duper barbecue. You like it, don't you?
I do.
That's very nice
Absolutely
indeed.
gorgeous.
Ching, ching, ching,
Absolutely
ching.
gorgeous.
Very nice. Who'll be doing the cooking?
Michael will.
Does he?
I'll make him.
Oh, good on you. Very good. Excellent. Well, it comes with all the cutlery and stuff you need to operate the barbecue and cook on it. But also, we've got some pots down here and these rather funky lights, okay, which are
Yes.
solar powered.
Yeah,
so
very
they
nice.
charge up during the day and they come on automatico at night.
At night.
All you've got to do is answer the question. The burning question. It's burning because I left it on the barbecue. What is another name for the May tree? Is it laburnum, ash or hawthorn?
Hawthorn, I think.
You're going for hawthorn. What is Mick going to say if you got this wrong?
Oh, gosh. You'll call me all the names under the sun.
Well, it's good. It's not going to happen because it's the right answer.
Oh!
It's the right answer. Good on you, Mum. You've done it. You've pulled out the woofer. Superb.
Because I know laburnums, the
Excellent.
flower in May.
Excellent. I am dead chuffed for you. All this stuff's going in the garden. OK, we can wheel it over in a minute. You're done for now.
I'm done for now.
You don't have to do any more. How are your feet feeling, by the way?
Aching.
Aching. Go and put them in a large bucket of salty water. Now, you need to describe to us what your garden looked like first thing this morning.
This morning? Oh, it's just total overgrown grass as tall as me, weeds everywhere, a few nice little flowers here and there, but totally subsumed by the grass.
Open your eyes on your new garden.
By God! That is amazing. It's absolutely ginormous.
Oh, it's bigger than we expected, but it took ages.
I can't believe how big it is. It really is.
So it's all on one level, so you can get around it nice and easily.
Perfect.
And you've got a raised bed there, so you can grow your vegetables and
Yeah.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
here as well,
And
which is
here
a rather
is
interesting idea with the
potatoes
tyres.
and things
Yeah,
in
for the
here.
potatoes, absolutely magic.
Basically, you've got the borders round the outside now, but thanks to all the plants, you've got the perennials and stuff, Andy. I mean, they will really fill out, won't they?
Yeah, we've actually got quite a lot of plants in here now. And we've kept, in fact, it's a bit more formal and tidy over here, and then down the edges, we've put some of the wildflowers back in there, so you can have a bit of a wildflower garden.
Oh, nice one,
and
thank
the
you.
wildlife and stuff over there.
At that end, obviously, you've got the gazebo, which has got wires across the top, so the
Yeah.
climbers that are coming up will grow over the top of that in time.
Right,
How long will that take, Andy?
That'll take a few years, but we've put wires over the top as well. And the idea is that you'll get a nice green roof to it, and the roses have a lovely scent to it as well.
Which is what I'm after.
Obviously, got the barbecue, thanks to Mum.
Yes, thank you very much,
you.
Mum. Thank you.
Yeah, and that was a tricky question as
It
well.
was a
I
tricky
have to
question.
say.
It was.
And we've got the obelisk, of course, there. And
Yes.
that we've planted some runner beans to grow up there, and they'll probably go up onto the pergola as well, really quickly, of course.
they
And they,
do.
they've got a nice red flower, so
Yeah.
although they'll give you beans, they look pretty good too.
For me, the raised area is going to be my special
Yeah,
area. You know,
that'll
that's
be your
where I'm going to be
special area.
concentrating on a lot. I like it very much. The first bit of good weather, I'll be out here.
Brilliant. Thank you for having us. We've had a great
Yeah.
day.
Well, thank you very
It's been
much
lovely
indeed. I
having you
much
here.
appreciate it.
So, here are the golden rules for a wheelchair-friendly garden. At ground level, keep paths smooth and even. Use weed-suppressing membrane and gravel to cut down on maintenance. And create raised beds at a good height for working on and enjoying the plants. Take care of your garden.
Well, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you for having us. What an unbelievable day.
That weather was appalling, wasn't it?
In an hour, must have been 2 inches of rain.
Slightly wet.
And look at this clearing up we've got.
It's a
over
right
here.
old state, isn't
Still,
it?
we get boys to do that.
Yeah.
What?
Got to go.
You gotta go. What do you mean you gotta go?
Come back.
Well, who's going to clear this up?
Well, that's it from another Garden Invaders. We'll see you next time. Is this the streamlining, I think they call it, mate?
Streamlining,
You hold that.
Gotta go, mate.
Gotta go, mate.
Me too.